I'm actually going to jump in before you hear Dean, if that's okay, and I hope I don't take anything away from what you're going to say. My opinion on the gameplay. I left nothing to talk about story for this game because really there's not much of a story to this game. There's a very thin thread that keeps everything together. But I mean, after you finish the first mission, the guy who's in charge of getting everybody there pretty much says to you, well, you've collected enough money, you're all set for life. No need to go on from here, but you might want to do some more heists.
You might want the action.
Yeah, exactly. So that's as much story as you get. But every single map, every single mission that you go on is a story in itself. It's really great. It's really well thought out. Like any kind of heist you have probably heard or read of or seen in a movie or TV.
They're big fans of ripping off movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They've played it out to every degree. So that's very nice to see. But the biggest thing for me, gameplay-wise for this, without a doubt, I'm not even going to mention it too much, but the co-op play. This is my first, aside from Portal 2 with my nephew, this is my first co-op play with a group of people. So this was night and day for me. Okay, night and day. We'll get to that in a minute. But the biggest gameplay thing that was really surprising for me was the randomness of it. In every map that you go to, let's use First National Bank, the very first mission that you do, for example. You have objectives to do. Most multiplayer games that I've played so far, I have never come across objective-based missions or like time-based things like this. So you have to find the bank manager, get his key, go to a room where the supplies are hidden to open a gate, and then you use thermite to blast through the bank vault itself, and you have to find cameras to take out, and then you have to find the computer that holds the hard drive and everything. Now, all this is well and good, but some of these elements won't be in the same place as they were in your first time through this mission. They change. And if you do certain things in other missions, say you have the option of being stealthy in a hospital mission, and you have to go in, you have to subdue as many people from calling the cops, otherwise all hell breaks loose in an instant. But if that was not done, if you did take care of everybody and calm the situation, you would never meet cops. Like all these random elements that could happen depending on your gameplay, it's insane for this kind of game.
To cap on that, the best example of the randomness of Payday, there's a mission called Diamond Heist, where you snuck into a building, you're in the penthouse of this office building, and you want to get into their vault to steal all their diamonds. You start the mission doing stealth, and you want to try and stealth your way through to defuse all to deprogram all these cameras. Once you do that, use these codes that you've bought to get into the doors. Well, random elements. The codes you have may or may not work on the doors. If the codes do not work, you have to look for the CFO of the company to hold him ransom. The people who have the code may or may not accept that. If they do not accept that, you have to look for the boss's son who's on premises. You take the son hostage. The boss may or may not respond to that. Then you have to start doing things like randomly interrogating people who are at the party. Eventually something like that will work. You open up the vault, you get in there, you get the diamonds. There is a random chance, depending on how the map is gone, that there is a secret super duper vault in the vault that you can use to get in to get the Uber diamond. If you get the Uber diamond, extra cops come, and then the chopper has to come down to rescue you, and depending on what happens, he might have to make upwards of 11 different trips to try and pick you up. It's all based on teamwork and how it all plays together. Yeah. The replayability of the game cannot be overstated.
I know. Like, it's one thing to say, like, replayability with friends and different players and everything. That's one thing aside. But the fact that the game went out of their way to do this, to make it so random all the time, that each playthrough can be so dynamically different. I think that's one of the best parts of the game, personally. But enough of me. I've talked long enough. Dean, what are your thoughts?
Well, like some of the new mechanics you have to deal with the cops. Like, for example, I had never dealt with a cop or bad guy that tasered me.
Let me tell you,
sitting there shaking.
yeah, that sucks.
Unloading your gun on him, trying to
hit him, but you can't hit him. Yeah, very interesting. Hostage taking and negotiating again. I know that's just a thing that you can do. You just walk up to a hostage and click a button, but it's still cool, the act of having to tell the hostage, get on the ground. If it's a guard, you can tell him to cuff himself, or you can cuff them. You can carry extra zip ties.
Well, it's those little things, like in the case of taking hostages, it's those little things are what got me really into the game. That first moment where my first mission, we got into the vault, and I was the guy who went in to get the cash, and you actually have to take the time to put the cash in your bag while the other guys are holding off the cops.
When you're getting ammo, when you're getting health.
Yeah, it could be very easily could have been, okay, you've gotten into the vault, you run up and you automatically pick up a bunch of cash, you get a bunch of points, and now you've got to leave. Mm-hmm. But it's a neat design choice to make you have to shout at the civilians to put them on the ground so that you don't accidentally shoot them and screw the heist up for yourself when you're fighting. Yep. So you have to take the time to pick up the cash while everybody. It makes it more intense, more immersive, right?
Yeah.
It's more of a strategy element to it all.
I also like the fact that they keep a certain immersiveness in the game when they don't explain all that stuff to you. They let you discover those things for yourself, so you can find these little, you can call it an Easter egg, but not Easter eggs, but like, for example, the Uber Diamond, for example.
Yep.
That's a perfect example.
Well, yeah, the first time I saw that thing, what?
Other than that, I just thought the different cool things you could do during missions, oh my god, the drill stopped, I have to go fix it. I know, again, you're just pressing a button, but the act of picturing myself going down and fixing this in a real heist because, oh crap, it's going wrong, and the cops are all coming at us, and 3 of my friends are holding off the police waves, and I'm trying to fix this stupid drill. I'm getting shot by snipers. And well, when you add all these things together, it really makes it very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot now too, and I don't want to be taking the shine away. We haven't even touched on the gameplay in terms of outfitting the team. Because depending on you get to outfit your team before you go into the mission so that everybody has a different role. Dino here found out that he really likes to be a sniper, and he's really good at it. So Dino brings the rifle into the mission with him, and he stands upstairs and shoots cops from far away while they're coming to the bank. Mm-hmm. I like the heavy gunner role. I like to find myself a nice little choke point, and I just fill the air with bullets as cops come in. It's all kinds of great.
I can relate to that. I found that my role, the one that I like to stick with the most, is the bullet sucker.
the meat bag.
I am literally the guy where everybody is focused like, yeah, we're at the choke point here, and Dean's on top. Yeah, man, I got the sniper position, and Josh is like, just bring these pricks on. I'm at the far end of the hall, in the other room going, hey guys, what's up? What's up?
You're gonna get shot over there.
Just looking for a Pepsi. What's going on?
Hey,
oh! Did anyone know there's
there?
cops in the building?
Guys, I think the cop, and I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm dead, guys.
I need help.
Yeah.
Oh, we're coming. The drill broke down. Oh, we have to get it out.
And no matter
guys,
how
the cop
high,
killed me twice. Is that possible?
no matter how high Cory is on his skill tree in this game, he's nowhere near the amount of skill level for eating bullets as I am. I am awesome. Josh, what are your thoughts on the gameplay?
I really do like the classes. BF3 fan again, but yeah, that's same elements. You get to outfit yourself. Everyone plays a role, and that is part of teamwork. Not everyone gets the same ability. You could do everyone sniper if everyone wanted to, and that again changes. How you can play the game. You can...
Yeah, you make the choice, okay, guys, we're all going to take medic bags so we never run out of health.
Yeah, never run out of health. And I do like the idea, okay, yeah. The biggest things I'd say are you put down the ammo bag. I do like the idea of you only getting one ammo bag and not... Like
unlimited.
On Battlefield, I can toss out as many of these things as I want, right? This is like I'm a walking mule. I got like infinite ammo.
If you're a medic, you are God.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I like that element. I guess the one thing I didn't like as much and this isn't huge, but I think the game could have really used the element of your opponents being human versus AI. AI, not that they're difficult, not that it wasn't a difficult game, right? It can get really difficult, but it seems like with the AI, to make it harder, they throw a few more extra cops, give them extra health, take your health level down a bit, and their bullets are overpowered.
The game is hugely influenced by Left 4 Dead, right? Hugely. And that was a really successful game mode in that series, was to have the human players fighting against the waves of zombies. But randomly there are human players controlling zombies that come at you too. And I agree, I always felt it was kind of an oversight almost that they didn't include a game mode like that in this game.
Yeah, you still throw the AI cops, but have like the guy who's like, well, I'm not gonna go run right into that bottleneck like all the other AI.
Well, they have
I'm try and go around.
They have special cops. They've got your cloakers, your zappers, your snipers, the bulldozer, like. You know, those are perfect character classes for the players to play.
I don't like
and as
that
if
guy.
you wouldn't want to be the bulldozer running in and making life hard for the criminals, right?
Oh, make it.
That guy always found me.
Listen, just shoot for the glass.
Is that what you do?
Just shoot for the glass.
I kept going for the nuts all the time.
No, shoot for the glass. Shoot the glass.
You know what I'm talking about. This guy's the nut champion here.
You can see that on a couple of my videos.
Yeah. One last thing I will say about the gameplay that I really dug was that they kind of took a page. I don't know if they took a page out of. When did this game come out? Last year?
This game was released in 2010.
2010?
There you go.
I thought it was 2011.
2010.
For a 2010 game, it's
it's
pretty stellar, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, it holds up. Well, then maybe it was the other way around. But I was going to say, I thought they took a page out of Skyrim's book where, and I don't know how many games do this, but I'm new to this mechanic where depending on how you play the game is how you're going to upgrade your character. So if you're doing a lot of headshots, you're going to go up in sharpshooter and sniper skill. If you're doing a lot of just like gunning down people, you're going to go for assault. If you're helping your crew members up, you're going to get more of not medical support. Thank you very much. So it caters to your gameplay style, which is huge, and I'm surprised that more games don't do it like that.
Well, and it bears mentioning, like when you're talking about that, that's one thing I want to touch on too, is the game rewards teamwork. The game rewards in the higher difficulty levels. If you're not playing as a team, you're not going to get anywhere. The way like they do character death, where if say Dean and I are on a team and Dean goes down, I have a time period where I can rescue him, I can get him up, and then he's right back into the game. If I miss the deadline on that, the cops bring him into custody, and then we have to use one of our hostages to trade him back. Right? Very neat way. It gives you a reason to want to watch each other's back. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to need that gun. You're going to need that player. Right? So.
Cool. Well, we're going to move on to the next question here. This is a heavy game on co-op multiplayer kind of experience, but there is the single player aspect to it as well. So my question is, what was your experience going from single player into co-op? So I think we're back to Dean here. We'll start with you.
It's like, to me, what I felt when I was playing single player is the AI is such that they feel like two different games. Playing Payday the Heist single player is just like playing any other first-person shooter, except that you're much more frustrated with the teammates around you because you're supposed to count on them to do a little bit more, like you would in a Diamond Heist. The drill stops, they stand here like this and the drill stopped.
Yeah.
They stand here. Perfect example of just they don't do what they should be doing. And so when you go from single player and you log into your first multiplayer match, you almost never want to go back to single player because it's just absolutely night and day. Second thing though, based on that, is going into multiplayer can be very frustrating. I go and look for games, maybe 1 or 2 around the world that are on hard mode. Total games that I can join around the world, easy, hard, whatever, maybe like 6 or 7. So I would have liked to have seen a proper matchmaking multiplayer engine, since they've been doing since Halo 2, these proper matchmaking in-game things where you log onto a server, say, I want to play, gouge a bunch of other people who want to play, put them together, have fun. I think that was missing, and about 50% of the time that I've played the game, I've logged on, I've gone to multiplayer, I've looked for matches, there weren't any, I quit.
Yeah.
I play a lot of Payday, and I do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Whenever, I would say about, reasonably speaking, I'd say about 65% of the time I want to play Payday, I end up playing something else because I can't find a match.
And that's the only thing that I have to comment on.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
this-
that isn't, sorry,
Go ahead.
that is an unfortunate thing, because I mean, we can all agree this is a really decent game and crazy fun when you can get like a bunch of friends going on it, or even like people who, you know, are not just AI, but you know, player controlled characters. You know, it is a big time fun game, but we're in a world where we're competing with multi-million
A lot of people
AAA.
playing a lot of other games.
Yeah, like around that time, I'm sure, like it came out in probably late
Late
in the
2010,
year.
yeah.
So right there, you're up against most likely a Battlefield game or an expansion was out. Most likely, Call of Duty just came
Well,
out.
if we're talking specifically about online play, about finding a match, I can say, because I play a lot of this game, I can say that there
do
are...
you?
Oh, yes! There are peak times.
Okay.
I have found the best time to log into the game for like this area. I never have problems logging in any weekday between 4 and 6 p.m. There's tons of games going on.
Okay.
That seems to be peak time for just, I don't know, for what it's worth. And I will say, the matchmaking needs to be a lot better. And believe it or not, it's gotten a lot better. When I first got the game, before the major patch drop, when I first started playing it, there was no filter games by difficulty level, no filter games by... You could filter games by map type, and that was all you could do. So it was pretty brutal getting into a match.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier now, but I still think for the sequel, which is coming out,
good.
I think they can do a lot better.
Cool. Josh, your thoughts? Single player going into co-op.
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm one of the types of people that avoids playing the single player.
Which I expected. Yeah.
Because multiplayer has always, for me anyhow, proven to be way more fun, way more challenging, and you get better at the game a lot faster. Simply because you are working with people who already know what they're doing, for one, and then you can ask for direction, help. It being a team-based game, you're working as a team. I don't want to go into a battle with a calculator. I want to go into battle with someone who can reason.
Calculators all across the world are plotting your death now.
Yeah,
you know that, right?
How dare he?
Boobless.
You are boobless.
It had to happen at some point. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, what was I just talking about now?
We never listened to
I
you.
started thinking about boobless. Overall, I've done that with almost every FPS that I've bought, except for Battlefield. I was really interested to see the art style of the game, so I played that one single player. But
that's too bad, because that's probably one of the worst games.
Oh, really?
It's not that good. I will admit that, but yeah, definitely. Any game that's a first-person shooter is usually going to be better on multiplayer, unless you...
Call of Duty apparently is notorious for that, where their stories are kind of ham-fisted at best, but their multiplayer is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, mind you, I'm more... When it comes to Call of Duties and stuff like that, I actually don't like playing multiplayer online with that game, just because it's too small, too much action happening in basically a sandbox. Yeah. I like the idea of storyline when it comes to a game like that versus the multiplayer. But
so one thing I do want to ask you specifically, because as you can tell from what Josh has been saying before, is that you weren't sold on this game when we went off and we played the game for a little bit. The first conversation you and I had about it, you weren't too crazy about the game.
I was not.
Not to put you on the spot.
No. I was not impressed with the gun physics. I'm a hardcore player when it comes to Battlefield. And Battlefield, I do not like crosshairs for my weapon. I think
you're an iron sights kind of guy.
It doesn't have to be iron sights necessarily, but if you're hip firing, you don't have some heads-up display that gives you that crosshair. That crosshair. I like the idea of I think that's the center of the screen.
Yeah.
Right. Versus there's the center of the screen because so I like elements where you can lose all of that. You don't have an ammo count. You have to mentally be thinking, how many bullets are left in my gun?
Yeah.
I don't know. I grew up around firearms, and definitely recoil is big when it comes to these games. I didn't quite buy into the weapons feeling like real weapons to me. Sound wise, I'm not as crazy into the sound of weapons as some people are. It's like, that doesn't sound like an M4A1. That sounds like I'm like, true. Like, I don't think the guns really did sound the way they do in Battlefield. Battlefield, they really, really hone into that. They really focus on every gun should sound and act the way that the gun really is.
That's right. Yeah, you use the actual gun for the actual sound.
And for its actual purpose, right? Yeah. You can't just hold the trigger. You will get bullet spread, right? But I didn't see this happening as you're holding the trigger.
I agree with everything you're saying. 100%. I think the difference here is I think the game wants it to be... It wants to cast you in the role of the action hero. I think in games like Battlefield, there's a level of respect for what they're doing because it's so relevant to what's going on in the real world. And I think that holy shit, it's really cool to see when you're playing a game where the guns actually work the way they work. I think that this game, it's more about making you feel like a rock star and making you feel like you're just... really, when you look at the core concept of the game, when you look at the core concept of the game, like, how many fucking cops are in the city, right? They throw thousands of police officers at you for one little bank heist, right? Like, it's
meanwhile, the Joker's making off in the bus.
It's about making...
It's a comic book.
It's about milking adrenaline out of your system, more than anything.
I like how you milk...
You milk adrenaline, yeah? Or in Josh's case, you milk
adrenaline. I'm boobless.
Well, yeah, and
it all comes back.
Like you're saying, it almost makes you make you feel like a hero, but there's not a lot of games where they focus on you're a bad guy. Here's bad guy stuff to do. I mean, there's assassination games, and you could argue that those could be considered, they could be considered bad people. But you're not usually considered a criminal. You're usually the unsung hero or whatever in those games. So it is a nice change of pace to be, you're the bad guy and you're the underdog.
A bad guy.
Everyone hates you. So get used to that perspective kind of thing.
Cool. Cory, single player to co-op?
It's not a single player game.
No.
Don't buy this game expecting to sit and play the single player. Single player is target practice. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
Dean hit the nail on the head. It is so much better to play multiplayer with people who you can communicate with, you can strategize with, you can decide, okay, you're going to handle this while I do this. The AI is just there to fire their weapons in the general direction of the cops. That's all there, and to take up some shots. That's all it's there for.
Yeah.
I will say there is a big difference between playing multiplayer with strangers and multiplayer with friends. Both, for me, I find both really enjoyable. The vast majority of friends that I've made on Steam have come from Payday. And I will say that once you sink your teeth into the game and you start playing, the community is really rich. There are players out there who play. You get a feel like any other game. You get a feel for when people are on, and you can communicate. I almost never have problems finding a 4-person group because I have enough friends on my list who are like, oh, that guy's playing Payday. Well, I want to play Payday, so he'll jump in. Right? Yeah. It's the community's very supportive. If you go in and just say, hey guys, I'm new. I'd like to learn how to play the game. That's how I got started, and you just watch. People will pull you out of the fire when you're when you're right on the edge.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
I love you, man.
Much love to the level zeros. This is a very new player friendly game. Really is.
Yeah. So let that be the official.
That's completely true. Sorry.
Let that be the official invite. If you are interested so far in Payday and you want to get in there, my Steam username is Fuggers with a capital F. Hit me up, and if you want to try out some Payday, I'm more than happy to bring you guys along and show you how to suck. Or if you want to feel good about yourself, bring me into your thing and just wow everybody else in the room. Last thing I will say about the single player co-op experience, that is the defining thing. I always go into single player first for games, and I hate to say this, but hardly ever do I touch multiplayer. It's only in the last 8 months or so that I've actually delved into any kind of multiplayer gaming. And so going from, like Josh was, I don't know if it was Josh or Cory, but going from...
Josh?
Him, this guy.
Oh, Josh!
Douglas, yes.
Josh, okay.
Yeah, going from single player into a co-op there is no comparison. Like everybody said, the AI in single player doesn't function the way it should, and just having people that got your back and to laugh with you and laugh at you, it's huge. It's huge. It almost makes the game. You almost don't care about all the little things that we've nitpicked about. You don't care that the graphics look the way they do. You don't care that the M4 sounds like 9mm or anything like that. You don't care about the soundtrack music or anything like that. You do care that when you go, oh God, I'm down again, somebody goes lulz, and
3 guys come to your rescue.
And 3 guys come to your rescue, yeah. And you hear little tidbits about, hey, did you watch this movie? This is pretty good. Oh, watch your back. All those kind of things. The community, all that kind of stuff.
That right there is why I like Payday.
Exactly.
I will be honest. I do not play online FPSs because I am intimidated by playing against other players.
This big burly dude is intimidated.
Totally. I hate going. I used to play. I've done Battlefield. I've done online multiplayer. And I get so frustrated because, especially in today's day and age, because it's okay, great, I've got the perfect spot. I'm just waiting for somebody. I'm so smart. I'm dead because someone's a way better player than I am.
They smell you.
They smell my.
They do. I love that because I'm a troll. A total.
That's what I'm saying. I can't flip that switch.
He's
and
a
that guy.
noob. I'm gonna knife him 3 times.
Exactly.
That was you.
That's what I'm saying. But in Payday, the noobs are welcome. And hi noob, come on with me. Let's go kill some cops.
Who is it? Frankie on PC in 1080p. He's a dude on YouTube. He calls all the noobs Bambis, which I think is just a perfect little name for us because you just want to take us under your wing most times. It's great.